Now, it's been a while since you can say that Leeds United have been in European competition, but technically that's the case right now. Leeds United are hunting a player that has interest from all across Europe, primarily Italy, and it could be a significant problem for the rest of the window. But first, I need your help. No, I'm not going to flash up the screenshot again where not enough of you are subscribed, even though that's still the case. Instead, I'm going to say, I need your help. I'm attending the Plymouth match this weekend, and I want your ideas for a video that you would want to see. Pop them in the comments below, and I will do what I can to try and get something made. I really want to try and make the best stuff for you guys, and getting your advice is really important to me, I'll be honest with you. So, Leeds United, as we know, have an interest in Ben Godfrey. However, Leeds United are not the only club looking for a move for the player. It's to be expected. He's still fairly young. He's not like too old yet. He's clearly got a lot of talent in there, and he is someone that can develop into one of the better players, especially when he's currently at Everton, perhaps not a fundamental part of their side, and they need to sell players. Italian giants AC Milan are reportedly one of the interested sides. They're doing pretty well in Serie A right now, roughly where you'd expect them to be, European places. There's no real surprises in Italy at the minute off the top of my head. I'm sure that'll come back to bite me because I've not checked the table, but they're not the only ones looking at the player. We also have Atalanta and Genoa looking for a move, and that could be a significant problem for Leeds. And it really applies pressure for quick business. If we're able to get a move in before the other clubs are able to, then Everton might be forced to sell because we know they need money because FFP concerns are piling up and up. But that's not necessarily going to happen if AC Milan, Genoa, Atalanta are able to get in there first. And aside from that, aside from all the competition, which includes Sheffield Wednesday, who I've not even mentioned yet, there are some fundamental issues with the move in the first place that could harm Leeds United's attempts to sign him. First up, Everton will want a big permanent fee. Everton's main reason for selling players at the minute is because they don't have any cash, and FFP has ruined them on repeat. This means that they risk another points deduction, which is really damaging to their potential campaign going forward, and they want to avoid that at all costs. Now, Ben Godfrey also apparently wants an international move, and you combine those two factors and you get teams like AC Milan, who are looking for Premier League-ish standard of quality, have a significant amount of money and can invest it in players relatively willy-nilly. We're currently in the Championship, which means that the money we get in is zilch compared to Serie A. If we were a Premier League side right now, no problem. We could pay that fee. However, we're not, and that's where the problems tend to kick in. And Godfrey reportedly wanting an international move also relates to the fact he's had previous issues with Leeds United. Leeds United and Middlesbrough in the past basically said, when he was a youth player, we don't think he's quite good enough, or we don't think he'll develop enough. And I can see that potentially developing into a dislike of the club, which, I know isn't going to be the biggest problem because it's not always an issue. But when you think about it, football players are still people, and they still have strong opinions about where they go, who they play for, and what their link to the fan base is going to be. So ultimately, what does this mean? And this isn't quite the end of the video because I've got a second section coming up, but Leeds United need to secure a deal as soon as possible, whether it's Ben Godfrey or otherwise. It could be Calvin Ramsey at Liverpool, who can play at right back. It could be Connor Roberts, who can play at right back. There's so many options at the minute, and the fact of the matter is, I feel like behind the scenes, we're definitely in conversations with a lot of them, but we need to make things official and soon. The market is increasingly thinning out. If Ben Godfrey moves, that's another option gone. We ended up losing the potential of Nico Williams because Nuno Espirito Santo was like, no, we'll just keep him. Josh Doig went to Sassuolo. It's not the easiest right now, and we need to act before the market gets too thin, but we don't need to panic yet. This is important. This is something that I was going to make into its own separate video, and then I saw the Ben Godfrey news, and I think it ties together perfectly. We need to be methodical about this as fans. I know us as Leeds United fans can see a bit of news and panic and go, oh no, that's a problem. That could seriously affect us for the rest of the season, and a lot of the time it can. I completely understand that. There's been times when not getting a signing has caused significant issues. Like if we would have signed Gakpo last season, I feel like we probably don't get relegated because Gakpo has that attacking quality that means he's not necessarily going to get relegated. He will score a lot more goals, force his way into the first team. We ended up with Nonto, who was ultimately a youth player at the time, and getting him moved on would have been good. But that isn't always a problem. We need to be a little bit methodical when we're thinking things through. I've seen people in my comments losing their minds saying, well, if we lose to Preston, that's the season done. It's not. It's fine. We've got to think about the departures we've had so far. Looking through the names. Luke Ayling, Lewis Bate, Darko JB, Jed Spence. I'm going to go through them. Luke Ayling, for example, he didn't have a great future at the club. Let's be honest, he wasn't going to keep playing consistently, and people didn't want him to keep playing consistently because he wasn't up to the task of playing under Daniel Farke with the pace requirements, with the ability to go up the field and then drop in. He can do one or the other. And he only had 8 appearances at the club this season so far, which tells you he wasn't a fundamental part of the way the club was playing at the minute. He wasn't someone that we desperately needed to grab hold of, because if he was, we would have offered him a new contract. Next up, same position, right back, Jed Spence. He had a horrendous attitude, was reportedly showing up to training late, missed events, including reportedly something Christmassy that was quite charitable, but I'm not going to dive into that because I don't know the details and I don't want to slander anyone. And I don't think he was good enough to be worth all the attitude problems. That's something that you see in a lot of players that go out on loan and just don't put the effort in. I think it was a similar case for Jack Clarke when he came back on loan after moving to Tottenham. There was a clear change in his attitude, and Bielsa basically went, no, because you don't care at the minute. And Jed Spence is a player that clearly has some promise in him. That's without a doubt. But he's not got enough promise to justify the justify remaining the loan and dealing with that bad behaviour and forcing him in the team. Outside of that, it's young players. Lewis Bate isn't breaking through, and he really needs to hit some form at MK Dons in order to really make a career of it at the minute. He will undoubtedly have a decent enough footballing career, but at Leeds United, he really needs to impress. Same for Darko JB. There's seriously a player there. He's still very young, and a good stint at Plymouth could help him because it's championship level football, and if he gets repeat appearances, he'll be fine. But then again, he wasn't appearing for Leeds. So that's not the biggest issue. And it's true, the depth is far from ideal at the moment at Leeds United, at right back especially. Losing Spence, losing Ayling, that gives us Byram, Gray, Shackleton. Byram, good choice, injury prone. Archie Gray, more of a midfielder, but he's moved into there, but he's not shown injury prone issues either. Jamie Shackleton, perhaps not at the standard of the other two, so not perfect, but at the same time, it could be worse. At left back, Byram, Firpo, not enough depth. Completely understand, depth is far from ideal. However, we still have a week. A lot of people seem to be missing out on this. There's still time. It's not like last minute deals don't happen. I'm planning on doing a deadline day stream for that simple reason that something's probably going to happen on that day. Something that we can discuss in detail. Sinistera left on deadline day last time round. Jadon Anthony came in. Not too bad. Basically, judge things after the window closes. That's my plan, and I think it should be yours too. Hope you enjoyed. There's going to be a video recommended that YouTube thinks you should probably watch about here. Give that a look, be massively appreciated. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you later.